Cheers and greetings, fellow earthlings, or feral earthlings. This gets me every time I say feral earthling. We're all feral earthlings. Well, some of us, anyway, I should say. Yep. No. I think I need a coffee. Well, hello, friendly feral earthling. I just love saying feral earthling. Yeah. All creatures left to their own devices will become feral. Look at the pigs and hogs and chickens and turkeys. They all go feral. Yeah. Why not? I mean, they don't got a 40-year mortgage no more. Right? Lots of caves around. What do you need, right? Some goats, a few chickens, some seeds. You're feral, I guess. What a thing to say about earthlings, eh? Oh my God. Well, some people ran away. One stayed. I guess the topic is not for most people. You get a few goats, a few chickens, take a cave. I guess you're feral then. I want to be a feral earthling. Sounds good to me. The establishment won't like it, but they don't like a lot of things and lose sleep over it. But I mean, happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. But feral earthlings living in a cave. Oh my. Caves were man's first home, and history has a habit of repeating itself. Yep. You take the Blue Ridge Mountains. How many caves up there? How many caves in British Columbia? Years ago, I remember government went around and put bars so you couldn't crawl in the cave no more. You had to call this number to get a key. For real. So many mines here. If you know the underground at all, spelunking is pretty cool. I had a load of rock delivered yesterday. I made a video. I haven't put it up yet. But had a break. I guess it wasn't a break-in, but they come and stole some tools, expensive tools too, in the middle of the night, no less. And the guy that was watching the outside, he said he was too tired because there's a guy sleeping in a kind of like a hammock there. And I said, because he remembered on that day, some feral earthlings came. Yeah. The thing about feral earthlings is that they're just trying to survive. And, they've gone wild. There's, some may have couth, some may not. Some may have scruples, some may not. Some may have morals, some may not. All depends on everybody's standard. What's your standard, right? Deborah Thompson. Next thing, the tame earthlings would be taking the feral earthlings to be spayed and natured. Deborah Thompson. Do I know Deborah Thompson? Interesting what you say. Next, the tame earthlings would be taking the feral earthlings to be spaded and natured. Hmm. Deborah Thompson. Do I know Deborah Thompson? Interesting what you say. Next, the tame earthlings would be taking the feral earthlings to be spayed and natured. Hmm. Deborah Thompson. Do I know Deborah Thompson? Interesting what you say. Next, the tame earthlings would be taking the feral earthlings to be spayed and natured. Interesting comment. I like it. Nurtured. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough to be spayed and nurtured. Next thing, the tame earthlings will be taking the feral earthlings to be spaded and natured. I got natured, but you put down nurtured. Deborah Thompson. Cheers, Deborah Thompson. Unballed. Ah, that's not good. That's really bad. Auntie Mama's Kitchen. Good morning, my brother. From another mother. Happy Hump Day. Yeah, Wednesday. I think this is. I've been getting some exercise and concentrating on the food forest. Oh my God. And thinking about a cave and feral humans. You know, Deborah Thompson. Wow. Spaded. Ooh. Ooh. It doesn't sound too good for a guy. You know. Mm-hmm. Ow, I'm awake now. Yeah, feral earthlings, hey? Like, Buddy Biggs. Good morning, feral earthling friend. Hey, cheers to Buddy Biggs. Yeah, I love sweet people, hey? Yeah, and he's a real sweetheart of a fella. A fine treat amongst some of the feral earthlings out there. This guy, Buddy Biggs, he likes to climb a tree, or I'm pretty sure he go in a cave too. He likes to do things. Feral earthling. Ooh, that sounds exciting. Yep. Sounds very exciting being feral. Hey, hit that thumbs up if you're here. Show some love for the feral earthling. You never know. You could be alone in the forest one day and I find you and I help you and I show you the way out of the forest or show you how to stay in the forest. It's gonna happen. Yesterday I had 7 yards of rock delivered and all my pals showed up and moved it for me. I was just like, it pays to have pals. Thumbs up for Deborah Thompson. I wonder who Deborah Thompson is. Auntie Mama. What a sweetheart. Buddy Big's Adventures. Howie, my wife just helped me get a GoPro 11 for Father's Day. I'm excited about how capable and awesome it is. My friend that came yesterday is talking about this 360 camera for my place here because a feral earthling came and helped himself to my reciprocating saw. That's $300 saw. Yeah, yeah, but I left it out, so I have no one to blame but myself. But you never see feral earthlings on the property ever. Well, there was like this guy that had no home. He used to sleep in a hammock years ago, but he's no longer on the planet. Eugh, terrible. That's terrible. We should be able to leave our things outside without them walking away. Hey, I live in there's only like three ways in this village, and it's all monitored. Hey, and then there's some rich, really bad people here that really don't like anybody coming here that's bad. So the rich, bad people here, they'll run you over. Literally, I'm not going to say too much more other than that, but it's run by the rich, and they're terrible. But it's terrible that the reciprocating saw is gone because now I have to go and obtain another and pay for the one that I got, because it's a shared tool, right? So, yeah, I have to pay for it. But you know what? At the end of the day, I had to beef up security here. I graveled the entire property with 6 feet wide of gravel. You walk, you try to skim on my rock, you try to jump on my rock, you try to walk smoothly on my rock with velvet on your feet, ain't gonna do it. No, I'm gonna know you're there. But the funny thing was, they came in, and I believe there was two. And because my food force was searched too, because I could see where they went through, and so I've tracked big game and people before, so I know when things are awry or a certain way grass is bent. I know they went that way. It's you know So yeah, so they got the reciprocating saw until I go and look for something else, and then I'll know it's gone too. But they didn't get inside the house. But hey, if they're feral, they're feral. Feral humans, And Auntie Mama, that's terrible. We should, yeah. Hey, Auntie Mama, terrible, terrible. My neighbor lost his lawnmower. Yeah. Well, at least they're alive and healthy. Hello, Howie. Mr. Thielen from Down Under. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My signs telling people they are on camera can help a lot. Oh, yeah, I got all kinds of signs out there. I got all kinds of cameras, listening devices, but they came in on the north side. So yesterday, I had my pals come by and load the place up. If you try to come in on that north side, you have to hit that rock. There's 6, 7 feet of rock, crushed rock. So every time you go on, it goes. So got a friend staying with me, a student right now, and he's just sitting there in his window like that at the crushed rock. So anything that moves out there, the student's got it. He's just going to scare them off or call 911, right? Just scare them off. People here live in the bush. Hey, there's feral humans in British Columbia. Lots of them in certain places if you know where to go. And you know the signs. Hey, if you know the signs, like, you cut the bark out of a tree in the shape of an animal and put it on another tree. If you got a keen eye, you'll see it. But if you're just you know, a bumpkin, well, you're not going to notice too much. But if you got a keen eye, you can see where folks leave sign. I've found people before over the years. Hey CB, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, sign for sure. Aid, welcome, welcome, welcome. Aid, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Just talking about feral earthlings, and I lost a $300 reciprocating saw, which I need today. So I have to go and either borrow one from a friend or buy a new one. And chances are I have to buy a new one anyway to replace the one that was stolen because that was on a trade loan. It was a nice one. It was a Boss too, and it was a really nice one. Though I've got some stair work to do. I got the carpenter come in, and carpenter's helper or whatever you want to call the guy. He knows what he's doing with woodworking, so all the ins and outs and all the legalities. But so what I did yesterday, I had my pals show up and rock this entire place with gravel, like 6 foot wide, man. I put it everywhere. You ain't moving in here. But they came in on the north side, eh? And that was the weak point. So the persons they bloody know what the weak spot is. That's bad. They took yeah, it's bad. But you know what? At the end of the day, lesson learned, don't leave your tools out unsecured. That's the lesson learned. I was getting too much of a lackey, too much, laggard. I was just being lazy and didn't want to put it away at the end of the day. Well, now I'll remember to put it away at the end of the day because it's $300 that's gone. Well, not quite 300. It'd be $279 and change after taxes and crap like that. But hey, thanks for the thumbs up. Yeah. Oh, thanks, CB. Uh, 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 I'm okay. I mean, the guy that was watching from the hammock, he's like really tired because he works, night shift and whatnot. So he's told me he heard them, but he couldn't. He just was so tired that it must be just someone running by because nothing ever happens here. So yesterday, 7 yards of nice crushed rock showed up. It was 8, 9 days ago it happened now, but when it happened, I didn't realize it happened. That's how quick things go awry with people that are tough, like feral people. They're tough. You come from your little nice little house and your little cubicle or your apartment or whatever, you're kind of soft. Come on, let's face it, we're all soft. So you get someone that can live outside and tough as nails, you're up against some badasses. Okay. Yeah. You're not gonna, I want a cave, but I also, there's got to be more than one way in and out of the cave. So I look at the dwelling I'm in, the house here, as a cave, and how things are weak. So I went and I'm shoring it up. I've got some higher fence going up, and I'll put a shaker bell on that with a bit of cast line. You won't even see it; it'll be invisible line. But these, the little bell on it or can with some rock on it, it's a very simple technique. And I've caught several people over the years like that, but they were just drunk and wandering around the neighborhood. Okay, all right, here is the front door, get going, or the front gate and get going. And then there's people that just walk around that are just a little simple in the brain, which is, it's okay with me because I did that too. So that makes me number one too. Simple in the brain, that is. I just wandered around as a kid. I guess I was a feral earthling. But yeah, yesterday was a long day. My pals showed up. So I called in some favors and said, "Hey, I need this rock moved." So you got to have pretty good pals. Yeah, they stole from the well, you won't know until you go look for that tool because I had a little workstation here, a little workstation there, and then electrical tools are out underneath the balcony, and I didn't put that away, right? Yeah, well, you know what? I don't I I would never go after revenge or anything like that, but karma's I believe in karma a little bit. What you do is what you get. So chances are most people that come here that are hungry, I'll give you some food and here's a little money and I'll go on. I'm not gonna slight anybody, but everybody's condition is because of their standard. If you got a low standard, then you're going to get low standard. If you've got a high standard, you'll get high standards. That's how it works, you know. So it's a pretty friendly place. I live in the village here, so they had to have traveled here, and that's. But see, I left it out in the open, so it would have been seen. I was so tired. I just went, oh, okay, I'll just leave it there. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I had to lay down. I had one of my little spells. Yeah. Yeah. So that cost me to have my little spell. Mm, yeah. But feral earthlings, you could call a lot of people feral down here in southern British Columbia because it's such good weather conditions that allows you. I mean, if you ride your bicycle around, your clothes will dry after it rain. This is how it would actually be if you decide to be feral, right? So remember that hanging your clothes in British Columbia would be a thing that you would do every day to dry, just to dry because of the humidity. So being feral here, person if that would run would actually, you sure you'd sweat, but actually you're drying down too. You're drying your clothing, you're moving, right? Depends how far you run. Humans, I don't think, are meant to run unless you're like a Navajo runner and native guy in the desert. I mean, those guys can run. They're amazing. But feral, I mean, look at all the homeless people. Look at them all. There's just thousands and thousands in every city in British Columbia, and I hear it's like that all throughout North America. this epidemic of drugs and homelessness is a throwaway society. Humans are not throwaway. Hey, everybody's worth something, like their, and their life. Yeah, you're right. Life is getting tough, really tough. Like that's just it's once the person becomes feral, they're stronger than you that live in the cubicle or your cabin or your shack or whatever, unless you're like feral and you have a shack. The only difference between a cave and a house is the house can have a mortgage and the cave doesn't have a mortgage. Hey? So when there are feral people, they're known. They're known. I mean, trail cam, body cam, camera don't lie, right? Well, it's hard to say nowadays with all this AI generated crap. It's like people have the time to watch that garbage. I don't have time to watch that. I just zip it right by. But a friend on YouTube here, I like to call a friend, but Fifi's channel there, she showed how to mow that clover this morning there and toss it to her chickens. I mean, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. That just there's all kinds of people on the YouTube that it's YouTube village, I call it. So you have all these interesting people that want to show that they're the awesome teacher to me talking about how I got ripped off for my reciprocating saw. So it's a kind of a life is getting tough. Yeah. I have a lot of clover in my yard. The rabbits love it. They are rabbits everywhere right now. I know this year's an abundant year of rabbits. There's a ton around here. I've had to fortify the place quite a lot. Like, it just put the different spots that were coming in, even though, there's a 6-foot fence there to, 8-foot fence to stop or slow down a deer. Really, they can jump 10, 12 feet, some of them deer. Chickens like clover. Yeah, they do. Fifi there, she got her hubby there to somehow mow the lawn, I think. And then I noticed it was in a bucket and she chucked it to the chickens and they didn't mind eating that. They didn't mind that at all. Yeah, yeah. Chickens and goats, a few seeds and a water source in a cave is really all a human needs. A good book library helps. But nobody reads books anymore. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. I do. I still sit down and read a book from cover to cover and then just get what I want from it. And sometimes I won't read it if it's boring parts or something. Yeah. I was in the middle of a neighboring city yesterday in the pits and walked right up to Anido. I got great. Oh, I got to see that. That's cool, Betty Biggs. Very cool. I've been noticing all the little fawns here. They come here with the mothery little guys. The mother will even leave them here. Like several times, years ago when I had the lawn there, I'd be mowing. Oh, there's a little deer. Got to go around it, hey, or just back off and let the mother come and get her young. But because I used to let the lawn grow really tall, let the deer eat it. She felt safe leaving the little fawn there. It was beautiful to see. And they make this weird whistle when they called their kid. It's really cool. Yep. Fawns will nap almost anywhere. I know. And this one was right in the sunlight. It'll see me, but I tried not to freak it out. So I just went around and backed off and went on with the mower around the backside of the house. Hey, early bird special with Brad. Good morning. Hope you're doing well, Brad. I was talking about feral people, people off the grid, people in the cave, people in a tent homeless. What do they do? Well, I know what I would do is dig my cave, take about a day or two, put a little mortar up, short maybe, depending on how big it is, and get some goats, chickens, and some seeds and a water source. I guess I want to be feral. Yay, go feral. The establishment won't like you. They can't wrap you up in a little box and put you in the drawer, so to speak. Yep. I am. Yes. Hope the same for you. Oh, good. Oh, good. Howie, everyone have an awesome day to get my son ready for the bus. I take it you're not feral. Hey, you said something about feral earlier there, Buddy Biggs. Come on. See you, Buddy Biggs. Have a great day with your boy going to the bus, man. You're a good man, Buddy Biggs. Yep. Yep. Feral. Cave. See you, buddy. You have a good day. Somewhere around here we have the. Yep, there we go. Oh, 6 thumbs up. Thanks for the thumbs up. Oh, a little sore today. But I feel better with having my pal show up and rock the place. Now, nothing could move around here without making noise. Noise is a good thing. Let you know who's there. I may have went a little bit overboard, but I didn't really care. The whole entire north side and the quarter of the west side. I have no idea what you're saying there, Rick, but it's rocked now all the way around the house except for the driveway, which has got like a ton of cameras. Did I miss somebody coming in here? Okay, I don't understand what you're saying, Rick Thielen. Dr. will fix the Ferraris. Are you saying fix up the ferals? What's going on? Right. Okay. I don't see the doc in here anywhere. There's 3 different doctors I know that would fix up the ferals. Yeah. You never know. I see she was sick there. She went traveling and got sick. I didn't know you went to her channel. I haven't been there in a long time myself, so it was a while back. She was in Florida or something, but then she disappeared for a few weeks and popped up and said she was sick. Takes a long time to get better from something. There was a guy that delivered the rock here yesterday. I kind of felt bad for him, but then I thought, geez, yes, I saw a replay. Yes. Oh, okay. I might have too. But her dog is lovely. Yeah. He is a cool dog. Bentley, that's his name. Yeah. I love dogs. But yesterday, the guy that delivered the rock early in the morning, I noticed he's got this cold, like deep cold. And I'm like, dude, you're sick. But my standard's not other people's standard. So he said, yeah, I'm sick. And I'm like, oh, and you delivered my rock. He's like, yeah. I kept the wind at my back. Hey, I guess I'm a bit feral. So anyway, hey, Joe, Grow Big TV. So good to see you, Joe. So anyway, I wanted more rock, but I didn't want the sick guy coming back, right? I said, I said it sounds pretty rough what you have. Like you could hear his lung was just crapping, right? So I needed more rock, but I'm not going to have him back because he was sick. And for simple fact, he should have isolated himself. Why spread it around? Not everybody's the same. My standard's different than other people's standards. So yeah. Buddy Big's left, and I don't know if Brad's still here or not. And Mr. Thielen saying hello to Joe. Good to see you, Joe. Hope all is well in your neighborhood. Just talking about feral. When you go feral, and you got like feral hogs, feral turkeys, and then there's feral humans. Interesting, hey? Yeah, feral friendly humans, feral friendly earthlings. So anyway, I had someone come here in the middle of the night and help themselves to my reciprocating saw. So I looked around at the weak spot in the property here and upgraded it. Anything that moves through there, you better be pretty stealthy. Buddy Biggs took off. But I put like 6-7 foot wide of rock. It'd be pretty tough to jump onto the rock and not. You couldn't, because you're not going to hang on the side of my house. I don't think so. So I'm upgrading with a taller fence. It'll be a cedar-like type fence, because that's the only thing in BC that you can put up that's going to last because of the moisture. So I did that yesterday. I called some pals and, make sure that I get all the best advice. And one of my pals, and he says, "Look, you need an infrared." And I'm like, "An infrared?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got to put an infrared." And I'm like, "Oh, geez, man, do I really need to do this?" so my other buddy that came, he's got a 360 camera, and it goes off with motion detection. So went that route, but Clint Eastwood make my day. Yeah, no, not over at Howie's. Howie's more apt to hand you some food or show you how to make soil grow food, or this is where the clams are when the tide goes down, and grab a few, you got major, huge gooey ducks and razors and all different kind of clams here. You really wouldn't have to go without food here, but most people just, oh, I'm going to the beach. They lay on it. Right? But it's any ocean along British Columbia, except where they got, sewage going out. You wouldn't want to go around there. J3GS Farm, good morning. There you go. Good to see you. Yep. I've been over to J3GS Farm channel quite often. There's always a lively discussion there. And yeah, maybe just Clive the ape. Well, I don't know, but they got my, they got my, reciprocating saw. Good to him every morning. Yes. They got my reciprocating saw, but I think I got it nailed down who did it. But I don't want to say anything because I'm going there today just to say hello. And I'm thinking it's the person's responsible, and I know where they are. And I'm just going to go by with some food and and here's a new stove, or here's a blanket. but knock on the front door. Don't come in the middle of the night. So I'm going to go by and see the feral people today, and just to say hello that I'm still here, and you know, don't come back. Knock on the front door. I'll help anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how poor you are. I don't care how sick and healthy you are. Well, I do, but I mean, I'm not going to press the issue. But mm, I'm definitely going to stop by. Just, you never know. They might not have done it, but they're the only ones that would have been able to get here. And I don't think it's anybody in my village because everybody loves me. I mean, a couple of the bad guys might not like me because I don't say hello. I don't like some people, so I just, okay, see you, bye bye. Yep, it's nice meeting you, bye bye. Well, you have to be a caring person, Mr. Thielen. You just have to, you know. I mean, you can go and not care. I mean, but how much empathy and sympathy and truth and scruple do you want? It just, the list goes boom, 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 and caring. You know, don't put yourself in danger either. But I'm going to that where the feral people live, and I'm going to drop off some food. See hello, see who's got what, who's talking, and if they want to give something back, I won't press the issue, mention what's missing or anything like that. But I will talk about, here's your food, here, and here's a sleeping bag. They really like tarps. Feral people love tarps. They just love it because you can throw a tarp up anywhere and you just keep the rain off yourself, right? You're very kind, Joe, as yourself. Today's persons aren't so good as the old days. Well, they're 50% good and 50% bad. It all depends on how weak you are. And you don't want anybody to know your strengths or your weakness. So you can pretty much give out a lot of disinformation and nobody knows what to do. Hey, perfect. But a feral person is tougher. Like homeless people are pretty tough people. They live outside under all weather, winter, everything. Okay. What do people that are inside do? Oh, they sit nice and warm building or nice, beautiful, warm home, you know. Uh, yeah, they do, don't they? Jiggs Farm and Mrs. Mrs. T with the T. That's a tongue twister. But yeah, they're good channels. I enjoy going to them and listening to what they're saying. I try to leave something love and then leave, you know. And yeah, yeah. Well, who's the good old days? What is that? The good old days. I mean, you may have lived in a fiefdom that was a good old days, but I mean, back in the day, people had to be pretty tough and nasty to survive, man. It's a hostile world. I mean, when people traveled, like say 200 years ago, not everybody nice, man. Like here on the British Columbia coast, if you traveled here, I'll give you one instance, okay? And Chief McQuina was the local guy up north of the island. He was a Nutchelnut guy. He was a First Nations guy, but he was a warrior. So when they seen this ship coming, which they looked at it as an island, and then they seen all these white people on it, they're like, "Oh, look at all the ghosts!" Right? This is, this you have to think like them. And dude, they traded in slaves and camas bulbs here, dude. Yeah, people and camas bulbs. The natives, that was their First Nations, that was part of their trade. They had a trade route overland all the way to Saskatchewan and all the way to Florida for their camas bulbs. So if their camas bulbs went all the way to Florida and all the way to Saskatchewan, then that means their slaves went that route. So I read some memoirs about how the chief and his pals, they attacked the ships and what they did. So they wanted to know information. And the Haida, the First Nations Haida, had these giant canoes with 300 or 400 people on them. So when they attacked the ship, 300 or 400 guys showed up. Hey, all badass, all feral people, if you want to look at it. Okay. So once they took the ship, they noticed these swivel guns. Okay. So they put them on their canoes. They were the only First Nations to have a swivel gun on their canoe, dude. So when they showed up, the good old days, they're badass. They slaughtered a bunch and then grabbed a bunch for slave trade money. It goes on today in Africa and other places too. The bandits come in and grab a bunch of people, slaughter a bunch of people, and sell them off. Grab the gold out of the bank and wherever else and go to the next town and village. Nothing's changed, just except where people live. Their standard is, oh, I don't want to live like that, so I live over here in this nice apartment or close gate community. Dude, on the British Columbia coast here, it was the slave trade and camas bulbs. The camas bulbs was sugar, right? That's calories in the wintertime. If you have camas bulbs, you're going to have that sugar. Vikings or Icings did that. Yeah, Vikings did that too. Yep, yep. You do okay with the pronunciations, Joe. Howie is spot on. Okay. I missed something. Thanks. We work on it. Yeah, you guys do. You make a great team. I really like that. Good. Yeah, the old days here where I am, I don't know what happened where you are, or I don't even know where you are, but it was pretty rough. So anyway, I read the memoirs here of people. I just love to read diaries and stuff. So because then it's most likely the real thing that really happened, not Victor's made up history. So that being said and done, so here's these First Nations guys. They take the armorist, or showed them how to use the swivel gun. Now they're armed. Okay, holy camole here. So here comes along like the Spanish came along here, but first it was the Russians and then the Spanish along the coast here. So there's an in-depth, memoirs back over in Spain and in Russia about coming here and trading and what it was like. So that being said and done, if you ran away as a slave here on British Columbia coast, and you were owned back like 200 years ago, they would put a stone inside your mouth. And on the beach, there's lots of round stones, like about that big around. They just kept putting them in you. Finally, you fell over. Now you don't run away no more. Do you think the guy that's seeing that's going to run away? No. So the armorist, the guy decided to run away. So they needed him to keep him alive, to keep the swivel gun going, and showing him that. So they grabbed a different slave that had nothing to do with running away and said, this is what's happening to you if you run away again. Look, I never ran away. He's going to be a very good feral earthling. And, so, yeah. So it's interesting that you don't hear about that stuff too much. And if you're into studying indigenous cultures or something like that, it's always neat to see how things were the good old days. Well, it was highly violent where I live. I'll tell you that. It was just nasty. I mean, you're going along in your ship, and all of a sudden there's hundreds of warriors taking your ship. You don't even have a chance, man. You didn't even know they were there. They're like, dude, they're a tough lot. I've been reading a little bit. I'm watching on YouTube about the Maori in New Zealand. Holy schmoly! And some of their fortifications, man, are pretty cool, very cool. I mean, there was a reason for everything, Even the collection of water, when I seen that, I was just like, wow, man, that is so right smack on, You have to collect water. Even though you're in a fortification and you're under siege, I mean, you still have to collect water. And that's just the way it is. I guess Captain Hook had the same here in Australia. I don't know, dude. I heard that guy was a rough character. You know, you can put him on the good old day list with the people around here. I no, I've read memoirs that guy was a nasty piece of work, man. He was nasty. Yeah, I mean, it takes no talent to hurt people. It takes real talent to heal them up, but he wasn't into healing anything. When he was done with anybody, he just turfed them over the side and watched the shark action. Okay, buddy. Like, I read that years and years ago, and once they took Popeye the Sailor Man off TV, Earthlings have never been the same. I liked Popeye and olive oil. Yeah, yeah, man. Eat your spinach, dude. That's so true too, hey. But don't eat old spinach. It's full of oxalates. You eat young spinach. And that goes with any plants too. Urban Gardening Chronicles. Good morning. Joe, I love it. Yeah, Joe can say some pretty cool things. Good to see you, Urban. Yeah. Just talking about feral people. I got some people came and took my reciprocating saw that I did a trade loan for, and now I've got to go and buy the thing and give it back. But I did some upgrading on security here. I put that crushed rock 6 foot around where they came in and left from. And so anything coming and going in the future will be heard immediately. And crushed rock's perfect because you got to walk on it. You're going to make noise, right? Now, a person sleeping in the food forest in the hammock's going to hear that. So, and during the summertime, people come here just to sleep in the food forest. I know it sounds crazy, but yep, I lock everything up, even the chick. I was tired. I was bloody tired. And I never get robbed here, man. It just doesn't happen. Like 15 years ago, there was someone traveled through the neighborhood, but they never come back. I mean, they didn't leave a forwarding address either. So I'm sorry, but my standard is way different than other people's standard. My standard is that, I'll share. If you knock on the front door and say, look, I'm starving. Can I have a couple dollars and some food? I'll shut the door, and then I got a little slot. Here you go. Bye. But I mean, I don't do that, but I just make a point of it. But anyway, you have to lock everything up. But locks are for honest people, man. Feral people are tough. They don't follow the same rules you do, and they don't care about what's written on the books for law. It's catch me if you can. Yeah, you were still very sick then, Howie. Well, yeah, I still have stitches. I had 2 in-hospital surgeries and then 3 minor small surgeries in like a little pukey office, taking stitches out and crap, But you don't want to, you don't want to enter into combat. Just think that. You just want to scare them away. That's your best bet with feral people. And, I consider myself feral because I'll run around naked in my food forest, but hopefully I'm not on camera. But I like to go out and stand in front of the sun and get some vitamin D. My neighbor said, oh, you can't see into your place. And you built this huge cedar fence. Well, I handed him a bill too for like $1,500 for it. Oh, it's his fence bordering my place. She goes, you can just take the fence down. I said, no, I want a higher fence because I run around nude. He's like, I've never seen that. I said, that's why. Hey, Dave Knight. Hello. Hi, Dave. Good to see you, Dave. I hope your squash are doing good. How are they? Are they growing? Mine are growing like super fast. Yeah, Dave's here. Good to see you. Yeah, if I'm ever in your neighborhood, I definitely will knock on the door and say, hello. Do you have any of those homemade beers? I like one. I never drink beer, but I would with you. I'd have a beer with you and eat some smoked salmon and then smoke some smoked salmon and have a piece of Gouda, smoked Gouda. Yeah, I like fine things. If I'm gonna, pig out on something. Like yesterday, I had fresh red snapper, hey, and then I thought, well, let's top this off. So I went out in the garden and I got these beautiful spuds. I had a bunch of pals here moving rock, hey. Had to upgrade security here, and I'm still on it too. Yeah, they took me for about $300. One of my reciprocating saws. We got a bed, Howie. We got a bed. We got a bed. We got what? What? You got a bed? You got a bed of squash or yeah. Hi, Dave. Ha ha ha. Okay, okay. Did I miss anything? Nope. You're outside watering. We got a bed. You got a bed of squash? I thought you put everything in lines, which is cool. Yeah. Adrian, welcome, welcome, welcome. But my squash are like the plant leaves itself are just massive. I should do a video. I keep forgetting. Yesterday, I cut heads or the Italian leaf lettuce right off like monster heads, and then I dug the potatoes like about I don't know probably 10 different kinds of potatoes, and I made this dill cream sauce for everything, and also I pan fried the zucchinis, new fresh zucchinis, and when I pan fried them was on low heat because butter burns, right? It has a smoke point, like not like other oils and lipids, you know. So anyway, I pan fried them and and in my little wok, and I kept shaking the wok on low heat and shaking it, add a little butter. So that was on my table, and then I had one, two, three, four guests, five altogether eating yesterday. Hey, Fifi, I just watched your video. Very cool about the clover, that white clover. Yeah, and you're right. Here's a very awesome video, I just must say. Good teacher you are. Yeah. I put stuff in lines to cultivate with tractor. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been I've been bumping into one of my fine students that runs a huge farm, and I bumped into him at the grocery store. And he's like calling my name. I'm like, I could hear it. Someone calling my name. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna. I can't see anybody here, so I'm like, what the hell? I hear someone calling my name, but I don't see them. So he's in the other. So he sees me and he goes into the other aisle and just calls my name over the row of food, but you can't see him. I'm like, I'm looking around. I'm like. I've never heard voices in my head before. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, okay, someone has a mic or something. There's something going on here. I just don't know what the hell it is, right? So 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 I'm like, I'm over it. I grabbed some food and I put it in the thing and I heard again. And I went, okay, that's real. So I boot around the corner and I'm like, yeah, there you are. And he's like, yeah. So he played a little game on me. But anyway, I've been bugging him about going seeing all the new attachments on his Cub. He had this Cub tractor rebuilt. Oh, it's sweet. And he shows how he's got these new attachments that actually do the weeding, like because it's all hand weeding in organic farming, or you have a burning like torch, and he has like a flamethrower thing, and over the years he's done some really cool things, right? So anyway, I get to go for the day, like watch the morning harvest to go into the fruit stand and out to special orders. And then I get to go and do filming him doing all his work and talking about what he's doing. So that's going to be really cool. That's like my thing. So, you know what he uses for fertilizer? Three things. Okay. Leaves, decomposed leaves down to soil, biochar, and wood ash. That's all he uses on 29 acres. Mhm. That's it. The guy feeds thousands of people all year round, I must add. Yeah. Yeah. So I put up like a couple 3 years back. I put up like over probably around 25 videos of the guy. And on organic farming, if you punch in organic farming, you'll go. And the guy's like super. He resonates with the earth, so he knows everything that's in his environment. and he knows how to conduct himself and amazingly well in the environment. Me too. Leave some wood ash, yeah, and biochar, yeah, that's it. I put in a little more. I mean, I put in layers of everything. Everything's a layer to me, like wood ash, biochar. I do that every year. And some people go, "Oh, you don't need that much wood ash. You don't need that much biochar." I said, "Look, I use it for many reasons, not just your reason. Like wood ash, I'll do the entire perimeter with wood ash because I don't want slugs and snails coming here. And then I'll provide outside that perimeter a place for them to go. I'm smarter than a slug. I know I am. I know it." But I get to go to that organic farm for an entire day, and they're kind of famous people, right? Like, I mean, they're pretty famous people, so it's kind of neat to be amongst them. And I mean, the city here knows of them like amazingly, like they're amazing people for doing environmental work and showing how to grow food. And I get the opportunity to go back there. He's looking forward to it. I said, "Oh, I'm going to make you super famous." He goes, "No, I'm already famous." I'm like, "I know." So it'll be neat. Yeah, there was a break-in at next door to him, and then that was a freaky thing too. I still have the newspaper here somewhere of it. This lady went to the hospital, and feral people raided her house 5 or 6 times. She went to the hospital. She was sick. She come back. She noticed it was broke into. Called the cops. The cops came over and grabbed her and brought her back to the hospital. Said, "Oh, you can't stay there." No investigation, just, "Oh, you can't stay there." They did this like 5 or 6 times until she actually phoned the RCMP instead of the municipal police, and then she got some action. Yeah, yeah, they'd take her away, and then the feral people seen her being taken away, and I kept the newspaper for to show everybody. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, look at that. Hey, see? So this lady here is super famous. I've read her grandfather's memoirs, and her grandfather sold off like huge chunks of land for her to survive, right? But money runs out, so she was one of the largest landowners around here. Really a sweet lady. But this just happened, hey, and anyway, it was interesting that here it is here. She had moved out of the house in February after coming down with pneumonia, and now just returns home on day passes from the hospital. And so she called the police, who probably took her back to the hospital. They took kind of a cursory look around the middle of the house and grabbed me by the arms and said, "You're supposed to be in the hospital," and took me back, she said. She returned to the house each day for the next few days, finding each time it had been broken into. I can't see it anymore. Oh, crap. Eventually, she called police line to try to reach the RCMP instead of the municipal police. Didn't seem to be doing anything about it. A city police officer from another jurisdiction and a nurse showed up. What the hell's that, man? You call the police and they drag her ass away. They didn't do anything about people breaking into your house. I found it just unacceptable. Yeah, that happened like a couple 3 weeks ago, and they live about 2 or 3 kilometers from me, maybe that, if that. Yeah, definitely 3. Yeah, it'd be 3 kilometers. Have a wonderful day, everyone. I'm off to see you. Off to bed. See you Thursday, Joe. Yeah, see you there, Mr. Thielen. Yep, yep. Have a wonderful day. Wood ash at the base of the squash to keep boars away. Hardwood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't. I'd be careful with the wood ash near your near your squash, but you're an experienced gardener. But biochar powdered up, I mean, that stuff's rough. That the critter don't like it, moves on. But just can you imagine the police taking you away? You're in your own house, and they take her away. You know, this just boggles the mind. They're municipal police, and you know what you get standard. They're not the same standard as other people. I don't want to talk trash about them, but I think you can read in between the lines like I just did there. Yeah, yeah. It's there's no. You have a good day, Mr. Thielen. You have a good day. There's no need to. If someone calls the police that a house is broken into, and then you get hauled away and brought back to the hospital. Fine. I think she knew her way there with her Uber driver anyway. But so anyway, the community rallied around her last week and bought, good morning, Pilgor, and bought her a brand new trailer, one of those fifth wheels, and put it there while the house is being renovated, because these feral people went right through and took all the copper piping, all the wiring, everything. They took everything, all the antiques, everything. I mean, apparently there was antiques from the 14th century there, man. Like that's got to be worth something. But she come from a line of her grandfather was a doctor, like back in the wild days here. Like I've read memoirs of people that had to go see her grandfather to get, I think might have been her father. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But had to go and get like their broken handset or surgery or whatever. And he was the guy. They tore down his cabin years ago. It was a crying shame. It was a nice cabin. And then up went these cookie cutter geodesic homes. Sad. Very sad. Okay. The coffee did its damage. Be right back. See that? Hide and seek world champion. See that? Sasquatch? Hey? Cool, hey? Yeah. World champion. See? Hide and seek. Yeah. You should play hide and seek games. Coffee love. Good morning, Visible. Yeah. How's it going? To Visible Farm? Did I miss anything? Nope. Yeah. So, what will you need if you don't have a home and you're going to be feral because you don't have a phone home? You don't have a home. So that being said and done, growing a jungle over here. Oh yeah, that's good. Canopy is good. Drones can't spot you. Yeah, that's a good thing. Canopy. So after SHTF, if you don't have a home, or before SHTF, if you don't have a home, a shovel can be your best friend to dig a cave. Learning how to make a cob oven in a cave. There's plenty on YouTube. A few chickens, a couple of goats, and seeds of all kinds. Try to get radish seeds number one, because in 3 weeks you can be eating the greens and the radish. It's really nice if you're feral. to have the ability to grow a few radish. That's number one. Lettuce, 45 days. So obviously, the squash seed is number one. There's all these number ones, but I mean, number one as in like what you can provide right away for fresh food. Because fresh food, let's face it, fresh young radishes are extremely healthy. If it's a old radish, it's extremely woody and full of oxalates. So that being said and done, make sure you got lots of radish seeds, different kinds too. I like the giant German ones, they're like golf ball size. So then the benefit of that is the nitrogen, right? So you're fixing your soil. So that's a benefit. And then there's like your lettuce and squash. So your squash is like number one. These are the three number one things. Like lettuce, I know it doesn't sound like a big thing, but lettuce covers like all the things you would put in a salad to me. So, kale, the whatever you're growing that you're eating for a fresh green, right? Good morning, Peace Journey. So then the squash, like which squash can be stored in the squash pit, right? You dig a hole, line it with bark, put it in your squash gently, make sure they're hardened off, and bing bada boomba. You don't want you want dull squash going in for storage. You don't want nice, bright, shiny ones. No, they're going to rot. Good morning. Good morning. Make it by Mandy. Hey, are you at home now? Are you back? Or I'm letting the German radish go to seed. Nice. Yeah, the German radish is the best that grows here, and the bugs don't eat it for some reason. Um, other radish I've put out there, well, not so much here, but next door neighbor, all their radish were eaten, and I'm like, well, I got to go check mine. And I was growing German giant ones, and I'm, oh yeah, they look great. But I did know before, like years ago when I grew them here, I knew then that the radish, for some reason, the landiopods, are like little sow bugs or pill bugs they're called or something. They would just attack, like, but chickens take care of them pretty good, hey? But like an apple in cool weather, yep. Excuse me. Yes, back home now. Good. Welcome back home. Where's the video content of the falls? That's what I'm looking forward to. So we're just talking about feral people that might come by and take some things that you don't put away and out of sight, like Howie did. I left my reciprocating saw out. Not a good idea. He's not expecting anybody in the village to come and rob you. So they got my reciprocating saw. So I've been upgrading the security situation here. I put 6 to 7 foot crushed rock all the way around my house and all the way from front to back, all the way around. You can't make it to the house without a crushed rock. And the neighbor sleeps with her window open. There's a guy that sleeps in the hammock out in the forest. So I got plenty of people watching, because once they take something, they're going to be back for something else, because they're, whatever it is, their habit is that they're paying for, whether it's food that they need or whether it's drugs or whatever, they'll be back. It's a matter of scaring them off, calling the police, say, oh, here's one for you. An easy pickings. Videos in a week or so, Howie. Beautiful. I look forward to that. Actually, that'll be fun. You get to tag along on your vacation. Hi, Grow. Hope you're doing well today. Grow big. Good morning, Mandy. Yep, Pilgore's here. Did I miss anybody? Nope. But I do need a coffee. Yeah. So I put 7 yards of crushed rock around any of the weak spots. So work. Yeah, I did that yesterday. Good thing I got lots of pals, because I needed lots of pals yesterday. 7 yards of crushed rock in the weak spots where they jumped the fence. I know for a fact they did, because just the way they came in, I found everything what they did. They wandered around the food forest too. They crushed things. Yeah, for real. I've been busy teaching homesteading. What? I hate humans that take from others for their own gain. Most of the humans will share if they care and can. Yeah, exactly. We have a new group of people. Oh, interesting. I'll be right back. I need some more coffee. I haven't had enough. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Put broken glass in your fence. I don't think so. Yeah, they walked around. They crushed the garlic. You could see where they walk around, but they came in on the north side, which was the weak spot. But I wasn't thinking that it was weak because I've got a guy in a hammock right there, and the neighbors right there, and I've got cameras. But they came at night, and the guy in the hammock said, "Yeah, I did hear somebody that night." I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "But I was so tired from work. I was just tired. I wanted to sleep." And I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay. It's only $300, man." Yeah. Nice, Bill. Dave's a mean guy. Glass? No glass. I like the raccoons and squirrels to come. But if it was an SHTF situation, then do what you got to do, Dave. It's all in the standard of living. Yeah, we're building our own farmers market. That's very cool. Very cool thing to do. Yeah. I live by Detroit. Yeah. We're building our own farmers market. Oh, that's awesome. That's very good. Was everything salvageable? Yeah, they pushed down a lot of the elephant garlic and some of the giant Russian red ones. And they were pushed down, and well, the scape was on them, so I just left them, and I'm actually going to harvest a bit today. But today I'm doing some more upgrade on the back here. I mean, let's face it, locks are for honest people, really. If you're dishonest, they got you can go on Amazon and get a lock picking gadget. It's pretty easy to learn how to be bad. Hey, growing on Vancouver Island. Good morning. Yep. And I sold the last of the land. Wow. Good morning, growing. Morning, peace. Hey, everybody's happy to see each other. What a lovely village on YouTube. Just talking about my reciprocating saw disappearing, growing on Vancouver Island. I left it out where it was visible. Someone came through and lifted it. I think there was more than one of them too, maybe a boyfriend girlfriend team, because by looking at the way I keep it natural on the north side. So if somebody came through there, like the buttercups all growing, the grasses and whatever grows there, I leave a part of the food forest, what grows naturally here, whether it's even if it is a weed or whatever. I'm not going to interfere with it. So I noticed by the stepping of it, someone had came in there and it was more than one. And they took the expensive tool that was left out, and that was the reciprocating saw. And I just got it from a trade loan for a while to use it because I've got a job for it. But looking like I have to replace it now. So we're talking about feral people. They're like really tough. They're not like, other earthlings that sit inside their little cubicle or in their house, and they're just not, durable like a feral person. You have feral hogs, you have feral turkeys, you have feral chickens, feral cats, feral dogs. There are feral humans. And I'm not trying to put a label on anybody because everybody's worth the same amount. But if you're going to go and do your own rules and not respect others, well, there's going to be problems. Yeah. I bought out two stores, I bought out two thrift stores, so now we have free clothing banks for people who need it. Well done, Pilgor. That's bloody good. That's yeah, nice. Oh dear, that's so bad. Yeah, you're a sweetie. Yes, I found out master locks are very insecure when my storage room was pillaged 3 nights in a row. Yeah, go trail cams are really good, and GoPros that phone your number. They're fairly cheap for like $100, $150, and they phone you and say, "Oh, look, this person's there." Right? And tagging stuff. I'm getting into air tagging my stuff. If it's going up like this, it's definitely feral humans. I would try to avoid that bunch. Yeah. It might even be some that we feed at the forest edge here. We leave like tarps, but I don't know. I don't know. There were a couple, and whoever they were, there was a woman and a man. That's what I'm thinking. Female and male earthling. I'm feral, not a thief or a drug addict, just not part of society. I'm okay. I love feral people that live off grid and live in a cave. Hey, you're rocking along. I love people like that. That's one of my standards is make do with what you got, right? You know, and as long as you're living in a habitable situation, I want to be feral, really deep down inside, but not like where I'm going to be going stealing anything. Just dig a cave and live out in nature and go fishing and watch the birds. You know, I, I'm okay with bees flying by, and I don't need to wonder why the bees flying by. Just that the bee flew by, right? Actually, they don't fly; they levitate. Yeah, that's really another freaky thing that I learned a while back. Bees don't fly, they levitate. They do this resonance where air travels over through a humming. It's really weird. The Outsiders. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. I think I read a book once like that. Well, there was two sets of prints where they went through the place on the north side of the property where I leave to nature whatever grows there. Like there's wild plums there, there's figs that grew there, there's buttercup, there's morning glory, there's you name it, it's all there. Different grasses and stuff. And just the way it was pushed down was two people that traveled through there. And where the reciprocating saw was stolen from, it was on the south side. So they left, and I found that gate too was left open. And I heard a woman and man talking outside, but I never went out because I thought it was on the road for one. And then the guy that was sleeping in the hammock, he said too that he heard someone, but walking by, but it could be the next property. He didn't know, so he didn't get up out of his hammock. So I got it down to, and they came in on the side that doesn't have the infrared. So it was someone that may have been here before that knew, because I'll help anybody, but I don't want them helping themselves to anything here, but I'll help anybody once or twice, or, you can't just keep giving a person a fish. You have to show them how to fish, right? Very comfortable in my schoolie. I have everything I need, most of what I want, employed full time. Exactly. Exactly. You know what? We're all earthlings, and my favorite thing is that I belong to this planet. I don't want to try to own it with a 40-year mortgage. I'm sorry. And people look, oh, you don't own your own house? I'm like, well, no, that's not the case at all. I just don't want a 40-year mortgage. I don't have a mortgage, but I don't want one either. And or paying rent. I think that's disgraceful. that you have to pay to live on the planet Earth. This is our planet. All Earthlings belong to this planet. So for someone to say, "Oh, this is a grid, and we're gonna, you have this little tiny spot over here that's yours," and I find that just unacceptable. So I like it if I was feral. I would live in my cave or a schoolie or my tent or whatever. Could have been an alien, or well, illegal alien. I don't know about any illegal ones, but legal ones, I guess, that come from space. Right? I always like to think that aliens will be friendly from outer space or whatever medicine line that they got across. Could be there are aliens amongst us for you not to fully understand your environment. I'm not going to say that you don't know your environment, it's just that you don't want to know your environment. And is there aliens here? The possibility is absolute. Perpetually being stolen from mostly by those that have more than I just have Neato toys. Cool. Well, got to accept everybody. The planet Earth is, it's just the planet Earth. A lot of people don't know they're here, and that's interesting that they do things because they don't know they're here. That's even more interesting. I think I said interesting 2 or 3 times there. So what it is that if you have fun, you initiate having fun. I believe that you're here more than people that don't have fun. I that's just something that I believe. If you're having fun, that's the best. Yeah. That can even be measured by your cortisol level. It's a possibility, just like humans go to space, aliens may well be interested in our space. Well, there are people that fully believe in seeing things that shouldn't be here. Yeah. One time I seen a UFO. I didn't understand what I was looking at, and it was just past the tree line. So I didn't recognize the craft. So I didn't know what it was. I'm like, was that a dirigible, like a blow up balloon or something? And then I realized no. And as it kind of floated over the ridge and come down the treetop level, and then it got closer and closer, I kind of got freaked out. I ran underneath a dogwood tree, and I just didn't want to see it anymore. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like I was fascinated in the beginning watching it, but then as it drifted over, I was just like, what the hell? And I kind of freaked out a little bit. And I could feel my heart going boom, 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 boom. And then it came right past the tree line where I was. And I'm like, oh crap. And so what it is, I ran in the house, like it was a little ways from the house. This was quite some time ago. And so there was a guy that lived at the front of the house, and I went and got him. And I said, well, what is this, man? He's like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. And I'm like, neither have I. And he just sat there, and I was like, what? So then I kind of got a little bit more freaked out. We talking caves in here? Yeah, well, maybe an alien lives in a cave. Who the hell knows? Shoddy, welcome, welcome, welcome. So anyway, so then a good friend of mine, Mrs. V, stopped there, and I said, "Come and look at this." And it was there for like 15 minutes or something like that. So she came on. She's like, "Oh, that's a UFO." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Cool." She goes, "I've never seen one before," and I'm like, "Well, welcome to my world." So it stayed about 12, 15 minutes, and then it left. But it was weird because it looked like a child's spin top. You push down on it and it just spins and spins. And then, you can have lights on it. Well, it looked just like that. And I was just like, what? So 3 people are seeing this and like, okay, nobody thinks of grabbing a camera. Like for the first 3, 4 minutes, I was just in awe and then hiding under a tree and then grabbing people to come and see this. And I'm like, okay, but nobody thought of getting a camera, nothing, because you're so in awe. You're like, is this crap real? The only thing I had stolen here once was a container of seaweed extract. Jokes on them. It was more than three-quarters empty. I think that was a raccoon that stole that. They'll steal that. Raccoons will come and chew on that, and mice and rats too. Yeah, yeah. We're talking caves in here. Yeah, we are. So yeah, so talking caves. Um, After SHTF, during SHTF, or before SHTF happens, try to find a suitable position where the soil's not too damp, the sun hits it first thing in the morning, and something where you can dig into and mortar up with some clay. And you know you don't need a big cave the size of a VW Bug. You don't need no giant cave. It's hard to heat, it's damp. You don't want that. You want to put a little cob oven in there too. Put a pipe running outside with your cob oven. Pretty simple. Caves are damp, or I would definitely live in one. Have a backup cave I know well nearby. Well, yeah, it's all in how you see you later there, Jigs Farm. Good to see you in here. You don't know Jigs Farm? Go by and say hello. Very good. He does a joint hosting event with other channels, mostly Mrs. T with the T, and very cool people. Yeah, very cool topics. I go to Harewood often. I live south of Harewood. I lived south of Harewood before. On Wakasaya Avenue. Yeah. That was back in my school days. Okay, growing. Do you ever go to Harewood? Have you seen the crazy camera in 7-Eleven lot? I bet they do have a few there. I mean, that's a pretty crazy neighborhood. I haven't seen the camera. I don't go to 7-Eleven very often. Yeah, I know. I don't think I've been in one in years and years. Oh, I think I needed some lighters. I was going camping about 10 years ago. I haven't seen the camera. No, those people in the city are not feral. They can't live in the wilds. Well, it all depends what you call wilds. I mean, I know people that are feral in the city that living off the land, and they're not stealing anything, and they pick, like, you'll see them eating hawthorn berries one day. See ya, Jigs. Uh, what sounds enormous? Oh, cool. There, Pilgor. You can't miss it growing. It's the size of a van. That's pretty big. That's a big camera. Have a pleasant day. Wow, that sounds all. Yeah. Well, the thing is, people that live in the city, your cave can be what you make of it. Like P says, she lives in her bus, in her schoolie. There's nothing wrong with living in a schoolie. There's nothing wrong with living in a tent, a tarp, or a cave. I mean, it's great to be on grid too. You get access to credit cards and just buy whatever you want. But people that live wild like, they have an enormous ability to be creative. They're using the right side of their mind because they have to survive with look, listen, learn, cool, calm, collective, and who, what, when, where, why, and how on a half-second flat for every situation they encounter. So, living wild, whether you're feral or you're living in a tower somewhere. Yeah. Wow, that sounds enormous. I haven't had a problem in Harewood for years, but there are some less than desirable people who hang out near there. I guess they had some problems. You're going to have problems wherever you are when someone has more than the other person. Or you're going to have mental health issues like drug addicts or that kind of thing. Or mental health is a big thing with some people, a lot of people. Wow, that's okay. I'm okay at the Black Tower on Fort Huacucha. They had things there. Yeah, okay. Interesting, Pilgor. Did you see any aliens? Stealing is out of control because even if people are caught, people rarely go to jail or get charged, so there are no consequences. The uncomfortable state, the unfortunate state of society, many people don't care about others. True, very true. The lack of love, absolutely. I mean, you should carry love is number one in your life for knowing you're here, and anything else is what? Fear. I don't carry no fear, so if you've got love, you'll be okay. As soon as you don't have love, then you got a hostile situation that could be very unstable and a half second flat. And that's the fear deep down in every human being while visiting others. Oh, cool. I'm into seeing that. I seen one once. I'm pretty sure I know what planes look like and balloons and drones. I don't think they had so many drones back then. So maybe, but this thing definitely. You know what was interesting was there's a base at Whidbey Island and there's a huge base at Comox. Nothing came to look at that thing. Nothing. Zero. So to me, that tells me a lot. That tells me that some folks that think they're elites, they already know about this. That's what that told me. That was the big thing that I took away from seeing that craft or whatever it is, Yeah. I was at a store recently and the aliens are at Fort Dulles. Huh. Cool. I was at a store recently. Someone was filling a bag with stuff. Store said they don't even call the police anymore. Nothing to be done. They just let them steal and go. That's teaching people it's okay. Well, it's a different standard than yours. And that's the fine line here. Your standard is if you're going to pay for something, then you get to put it in a bag. Now, a person with mental health issues, they're like, no, we're just going to take what we want. So it's a different standard. You have different standards for truth, scruple, morality, empathy, and sympathy. These are not, these people don't have that, and they can become hostile and unstable if approached. So if the police aren't doing anything, why would the guy that's just working there for minimum wage do anything and get hurt? I seen people steal whole carts of stuff and stores do nothing. Really? Hey, I had this guy like 30 years, 20 years, yeah, about 20 years ago, because I lived at the other place. And he showed up with a shopping cart of stuff. I said, where'd you get the shopping cart? He's like, oh, it was on the side of the road. Nobody was using it. I'm like, okay, where'd you get all the stuff that's in the cart? He goes, oh, at the store. I'm like, okay. I said, do you have a receipt? He's like, oh, no, I didn't pay for it. And I'm like, you see that road out there, that paved road? Because it was a gravel road in my place. I said, go get your cart and your sorry ass on it and get the F out of here. And he did. Yeah. So that was the only time I ever seen that. I didn't see it at the store like you. Yeah. But when you have the breakdown of society like that, you be very careful. You don't have to live in fear because you got love with you. Okay. But you do have to be careful. It's called look, listen, and learn. Have your empathy and sympathy and morality and your standard and love with you, but they don't. So they don't know they're here. So that's when the hostile and unstable comes in. Okay. Once you see that someone's hostile and unstable, I had a police officer all the way one time. He was the driver of the van was not the driver that he was looking for, the cop. And it happened about probably like 15 years ago. And they were bashing him on the van. And I came back to the van at the workstation where they were unloading all the refuse. And I looked at him and I looked at a cop that I knew and I said, hey, you're hostile and unstable. 3 cops grabbed the other cop, pulls them away just by saying those words. You know what you say, you should mean it. And if there's going to be hostile and unstable actions, you better do what's necessary and pertinent to your situation, because it might go below your standard of living. Okay. What I mean by that, things can happen in a hostile and unstable situation where it happens very quick, especially if someone's mentally ill, especially if someone has some skill. A screwdriver or an X-Acto blade or a knife of any kind or pointed object can be rapidly used, and a hammer, it can be rapidly used. So you really have a great okay. Bye, Visible. Bye, Pilgor. Have a blessed day. Make it by Mandy. An elderly lady stopped a man in Duncan from stealing a cart full of stuff. It was all over the news. If she could do it, why can't the police? I find it frustrating all as heck. You know what? That elderly lady put her well-being on the line. It's not worth it. If society doesn't want to do it, why should you throw down? You protect yourself. Let them take whatever they want. Give it to them. You know what? When I walk around, I have a little wad of 5, 10s, and 20s, like a little round wad with an elastic band on it. And I actually, when I go downtown, I have it. Or when I go to the camp where there's a lot of feral people, I'm ready to throw that down with a bunch of coins and just leave. My well-being is everything. And I protect myself. And a lot of people that don't, when they do get in a situation, they're generally a really nice person and generally your resonance that comes off that you're a really nice person will save you anyway, you know, because you're giving off that vibration, right? But some people that are not nice will take advantage of that and know and recognize that they know that it's weak because you're showing too much love. You have to govern accordingly, and it's everything in a hostile, non-stable situation. It's everything. I've seen it all. I used to do a lot of work. I was in a mobile field kitchen, and we would go and feed people wherever it was, whether it was a disaster, a building burnt down, it didn't matter. Um, we would go and we would feed, like, you got 1,000 people in a line up for food. We would, obviously it's going to take forever. So you just send a bunch of mobile kitchens. So we fed a lot of people. So I've seen, pretty much every situation that I can think of, I've seen it in front of me. And the one thing I remember was my captain telling me, don't get involved. Observe, record, report. That's it. You don't do anything else. If you can't observe, record, and report, then just get the hell out of there. That's your best bet. Don't stop someone from leaving the store with a shopping cart full of food. Those are desperate people that they have mental health, drug addiction, or they're living like feral people. Not all feral people are bad. There are some feral people that are very good. They just don't want, they're introverts. They don't want nothing to do with you because they've seen the damaged goods, the damaged emotional damage, earthlings. They just want to get the hell away from you. So not all people are good or bad, and not all are bad, or not all are good. It should be the like-minded person, so they're all bad. Could be they're all nice and they're all like-minded. Could be 50-50. Maybe there's a tough guy running the show. You don't know what you've got. You just don't know anymore with what's going on in this world. So a cave, a few goats, a few chickens. Don't forget your radish seeds and your lettuce and your squash. Yeah, and a water source. A dripping water. Drip, drip. Put some cordage on it. Put it inside of a bottle with a stone. The bottle fills up. It's not rocket science to get water. We're not running out of water. We're getting more contaminated water. But that's it. I am grateful to live in an area where there is an unmanned successful peach stand. It is a symbol of hope and honesty to me. I like that. I rather like that a lot. I surely do. It it's the way I would like to live. But you can't just always leave. There's, you have a job, you have a family. You can't just leave sometimes. Although I've left before for like about 7 months, 3-week field hike through the northern Sonoran and just by. It was really weird. I went up this mountain one time, hey? There's no water on the mountain, okay? And I forgot my water bottle. So this guy goes running by. He goes, here, have some water. He throws me a water bottle. I'm like, oh, shit. It would have been another 5-hour hike before I got water. This is the guy running by. Like, I got to be the luckiest guy in the world or something's looking after me, man. You know, be good to people. Karma will always come back, good or bad. Yep. Absolutely, Joe. Well said. I guess I'm not feral. I have matching curtains, air conditioning, clean sheets, and organic food. I don't know. What's feral anyway? Someone that's making a comfortable life. Person that's feral and running through the forest and naked or running through your house naked. What's the difference? Like, as long as you don't feel confined, that's pretty cool what you just said. You're not feral. I would have taken you as feral. I'm feral. I love being feral. Like, no one's telling me what to do, and I'm free. I'm free to do whatever I want to do. I mean, it's all fine and dandy to be, you go to school for 18 years, 20 years, you get a job, you pay the mortgage, you're 40. After you retire 10, 12, 15 years later, you're dead. I don't want that kind of lifestyle. And I've actually got out of it. I had to do it for a while because I had kids to pay for, but I'm not nowhere near that lifestyle anymore where I'm confined because of whatever situation I find myself in. I want to be able to just leave if I want to leave. And that's freedom. Do what you want to do, what makes you feel good. And that whoever judges someone that they're feral or not feral is, go blow. No, I'm not. I love everybody. I like being free, and I love it. If you're feral or not feral, doesn't enter I won't govern like that. Peace, Sturdy. Okay, I do run through nature naked and grace on forage. I do exactly that. Yeah, when you see me fishing in my house coat on my island, and just before that, I had to put the house coat on because I'm going on YouTube. Be good, people. Society could be so much different. Japan has a very safe society, almost no homeless people, and crime is almost non-existent for the most part. I agree. You can learn a lot from the Japanese. As a matter of fact, I have learned a great deal of Japanese ways. Okay, I do run through yeah, that's why I have the bus. Very easy, just move. Now, yeah, if there's a hostile or unstable situation and you've got your container garden, load up and drive away. You take your soil with you with your plants right in it. That's what I love about container gardening. It's a no nonsense. Look, I mean, I love a bus. I've helped rebuild a ton of them when I was younger. And I loved it, the ability to be able to just to go. I think that's fantastic, a van or a bus. I think it's mobile. You're foraging, you're leaving, you're seeing new places, and yeah, that's a very cool way to live. Absolutely. Any way you live is living, and as long as you have love, that's all you got to have. You don't have to have anything else. And you feel good. You're having fun because you got love in your heart, your living spirit. But you understand one thing, and that one thing is not everybody's standard is your standard, right? Manipulation, disease, emotional, all kinds of things can enter into the fray of what your standard is that you can't control. Like the guy that I needed another 7 yards of rock, But the guy that bought it here, he had a cold for a month, and I could hear it. I'm not going to call that company again. And I don't. If you don't have the brains to stay home and not make everybody else sick, come on, govern accordingly. Like, not everybody's has your standard. My standard is, if you're sick, please don't visit me. And please, if you're expected, you are welcomed. If you're not expected, then you're not welcome. But I'll hear your story. But I will tell you that you weren't welcome because I did not invite you. Right? It's as simple as that. But most people are welcomed here at the Food Forest. But I have a standard that you bring love with you. As simple as that. As soon as I see there's some type of mental health issue, okay, you see that curb out there? Go sit on it. See that road out there? Drive it, walk it. You don't have to explain your action. The person that's trespassing by not having the invite, that's a trespass. Society could be so much different. You bet. Oh, that's okay. It's that simple. Yeah, it has to be. I mean, there's a boundary. There's a fine line here. And I'm sorry, but I mean, if you're lost and you show up the Food Forest, fine. I'm here. Here's water, here's food, here's a hammock, there's a tenting spot right over there. I'm all for it. But if someone just comes here and for no good reason, like this one guy, he comes to the door. Just recently, like 2 months ago, rings the doorbell. So I go out and I put my foot sideways on the door like that, and I crack it by an inch. I said, yeah, what do you want? He goes, I'm here to help you with your phone bill. I'm like, oh, why would you do that? He goes, well, I'm from this company. I said, but that company was sold. Now it's another different one. Went from Shaw to Rogers. He's like, oh, well, I'm here with Rogers. And I'm like, oh. I said, well, I'm not with Rogers. He's like, oh, I'm here with BC Tel. I said, well, no, BC Tel was sold. It's now TELUS. He goes, look, just give me your phone and I'll get your charges reduced. I said, I don't think so, because I don't own a phone. I do, but I didn't tell him that. He's like, oh, he's looking around. Oh, gotta go now. He took right off. He didn't stop anywhere else in the neighborhood. Not at all. And during the conversation, he even asked where I bought my shoes. That was in there too. Yeah. Obviously, the thief liked my shoes, right? But he wanted me to hand my phone to him. But as soon as I told him I didn't have one, his story fell apart when he was talking about bullshit companies that don't even exist anymore. Foot fetish guy. Maybe he just had allergies. Peace journey. I love Habachima, and a grandson is being raised in Tokyo. My granddaughter just graduated from college. She's taking her medical boards and will be a pediatric doctor. Oh, that's really cool. Wow. Maybe he just had allergies. I had a bad allergy to cottonwood. My sniffles lasted about 3 weeks this year. I wasn't sick, just allergies. Well, the thing is, he admitted he had the cold for a month. So I didn't jump on anybody. I generally try to see the entire situation, what I'm dealing with, and I'll let it play out. And no, he admitted that he had been sick for a month. And I was like, oh, you've been busy driving? Oh, yeah, every day, 10 times a day, deliveries. I'm like, oh, spreading it around, huh? Like just like common sense dictates here. If you're expected, you're welcome. If you're not expected, you're not welcome. And that means that the driver was expected with the load of rock, But what was not expected was the disease that he was carrying and getting out of the truck and just coughing everywhere. I immediately, as soon as I actually heard his breathing in the truck. Okay, I could hear there was something wrong with his chest. So I quickly just went over to the side with the wind at my back so it was blowing against him. I quickly did that because I have no immunity. I can't just get sick because it would really be detrimental to my well-being extremely. Joe Foot Fetish Car. Is there parking space when I come visit? I still am planning to visit. The ferry is expensive. Yeah, it is expensive. And this is a big island. And if you want to come and visit, let me know ahead of time. And then your visit would be expected. And but yeah, yeah, there's a lot of room on this island. In the municipalities here, they have laws that, like the one I live in, they just changed a bunch of the laws. You're allowed to have a goat now. You're allowed to have a few chickens. You're allowed to have an RV or camper and or boat, right? But before you couldn't. You couldn't put a schoolie bus in the driveway. There'd be like ticket after ticket. And there's some people that don't sleep at night. And in every village I've ever been in, someone will call by law and say, "Oh, yeah, there's someone living there," and there's a bunch of rules. So, but if you ever wanted to visit, everyone's welcomed here. And but yeah, you didn't say that he admitted to being sick for a month. The sad part is that in this economy, a lot of people work sick. They can't afford to take time off. Exactly. And I can't afford to give up my well-being and pass away because someone is in an economic situation. I have to govern accordingly and pass. Like when I go to the doc's office, I rarely go to the doc's office. There's Zoom and all that. Here, look, this is growing on me. I'm just saying that nothing grew on me. You know what I mean? Like it just, yeah. Uh, yeah, just weird casing the house. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's what they were doing. There's desperate people. When I open my door and your foot's like this, right? So when the door opens like this, you put your foot there up against it and lean into it. Whoever's going to, as soon as you open the door, they're going to kick the door in and rush you, right? But I could see anyway that it was some kid, probably 25, 28 years old, 130 pounds, and he had a t-shirt and it didn't look like he had a weapon. So I answered the door, see what it's all about. Someone has to answer the door. You don't have to, though. It's your door. You've been busy driving. Trick question. You didn't say that yeah. Definitely. How I need to watch out for sure. Yep. I definitely will let you know. It's a long trip. Another friend on Kodiak Island is pressuring me to come up for the summer. Well, that's a beautiful place. Kodiak Island. That's a long trip. It's home of the Kodiak Silvertip. I've actually stood next to them. They didn't bother me. Of course, they were eating a lot of salmon. I told him I had to visit Howie on Vancouver Island on the way. You're more than welcome to come here. Anyone is, and enjoy the food forest. All are welcomed. Do your dogs bark at people who knock out? My dogs bark as soon as you walk on the gravel, but they don't necessarily bark. They'll just go. And I'm like, oh, someone's here. Now, if you're at the door, they will bark. But if you're just walking around on the property, it's just a little growl. And then you have my attention. I definitely, okay, do your, yeah, $2,000 for gas, almost $2,000 for ferries. It's a big expense, so I'm saving up. Yeah, it's not cheap traveling. I've done it often. You have to pay for unexpected problems, mechanical. It's not just ferries and gas. Yeah. And then a flight out of there or a bus out of there. And now on Vancouver Island, we don't have buses anymore. The Greyhound stopped, right? Each situation, like when you're out in the Kodiak Island group, There ain't no buses. There might not even be a vehicle. It's a pretty desolate place, and you need to take a ferry there too. Yeah, $2,000 for the ferries piece. What ferry is that expensive? Well, once you go on a ferry to different ferry, I could spend $500 going on the ferry to Prince Rupert. Yeah, from Port Hardy to Prince Rupert. That's not cheap. It's an overnighter. Yeah, and ferry after ferry after ferry, it can run up a lot of money, depending on a lot depends on if you're carrying animals, plants. There's a whole thing going on. Food. Some places don't allow you to have food, and the vehicles. If it's an oversized vehicle, it's a fortune. Yeah. Well, when you're traveling, you got a truck or trailer, or you got a long schoolie bus, or it all goes by how much it weighs and how long it is and how high it is. It's a bloody lot of money to travel. It ain't cheap on a ferry. Our ferry doesn't go by weight, it goes by length and height. Yeah, well, Washington State ferries don't. They go by weight. Yeah. About 800 plus fees each way. Yep. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. It does in Alaska. It's all by weight. Yeah. Here, you can just drive on a ferry with anything and you just pay, right? You pay, you know, passenger and a couple of people in a vehicle. It's going to be $100 plus. That's a long bus, though. I hope you go to visit Hawaii. We get to see bus. Cool. Cool. Yeah. I've rebuilt a few when I was younger. I had a little shop going on. So you rebuild old junky cars, and some new cars would show up, and you'd have to figure out all the new stuff. That was kind of cool. And but there was always someone rebuilding a van or a schoolie, always in the yard. There was always someone, or two or three people, because everything had access there to all the tools, and then there was outside of the municipality, so it was really fun. You got to do whatever you want. You could act pharaoh. I've watched a few bus renos. I love seeing them. I think they make great homes. Yeah, I've done some. That's a long, okay, about 800 plus fees. Wow, that's a ton of cash. Vancouver Island's pretty wild here. It's pretty controlled, though. I think that's what Mandy's uh, was voicing there at a different episode of a live stream. It's very controlled here. It's extremely controlled. I mean, they haul away homeless people here, take all their stuff, and now you just stand there in the rain. And it can get pretty rough with the rules here. And if you don't have money, mm, not good. But the rules here is once you hit gravel road, piss off. That's public road and logging road, whatever. But before then, like on paved road, you can pull over at a lot of places and just stay there for a few days or even a week. No one will bother you. I mean, I know lots of people that go to Elk Lake and just park. Like there's just a huge along the highway. You see all these schoolies. There's tons of them and RVs, and then because that's common ground of the BC Highway Department, and anybody can park there. They put a lot of fruit trucks. They sell fruit there, and the First Nations will stop there and put their salmon in totes on the back of their truck, and they sell their salmon they caught. But there are lots of places like that on Vancouver Island that you're outside of it's unincorporated, or if it's incorporated, it all depends on the corporation that governs that. And then, well, we all know crap rolls downhill. But the further you get up island past Nanaimo and Gamble River, it's do whatever you want, as long as you're not having a fire outside and then the BC Forest Service finds you, you're good to go. It's wild. It's wild British Columbia, the wild West up here. And there's no governance. There's no municipal governance. There's a federal jurisdiction. And if you're on, you got to go onto private land on shore by the ocean. You stick below the tide line, and there's no rules. Yes, I'll show you, Mandy. I have live edge countertops, copper sink, and trim cedar ceiling, and trying to find a copper tub that's affordable. Easy on the copper. I will watch if you, yeah. Yeah. So it's all in how you want to travel and how old you are and how many illnesses you have. That's basically it. Oh, yes, peace. I love that so much. I bet your bus is wonderful. It sounds wonderful. She has talked about it often at her plants. Yeah, you won't travel through the border with your plants. There's no way. They won't allow that. They'll take them, just to let you know. I mean, even if you try to get into Alaska with them, they ain't gonna let you. But the thing is, you go to the Alaskan Highway, hey? It's the it's a quite well maintained highway. It is. I've been on the Alaskan Highway many times. And it's a big open range. You're apt to seeing herds of caribou to herds of buffalo and lots of deer and elk. Government owns it all because it's a lot of it's preserved. Yeah. Well, it's 2 hours up. It was nice chatting all your ear off, and have a good day. And remember, feral people are people too. They just have their life, and yeah, enjoy your day. Fifi, see you, Mandy. Bye, peace journey. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I am truly the happiest I've ever been. Good for you. That's all that matters. Fun and love. That's all you need. If someone else brings you their world, I'm sorry, I don't need that. Or the hippies one day say, hey, I don't need your vibes. Take care, everyone. And if you show up and going to your Alaska, drop by Peace Journey. Love to see you. And anybody else that wishes to come by. Okay. And end stream now.